Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to the Question Reality Radio Show. I'm Priscilla Leona. I'm producer and host of this show, and we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. For 13 years, we've been providing our audience with entertainment industry career advice. Now, this show is for you if you are questioning your career reality about pursuing a career in show business, or if you're already working in the entertainment industry and you just need some tips, advice, or resource information about how to elevate your career status. Our guests include Emmy winners, Grammy winners, Tony Award winners, reality TV stars, and we just have a wide variety of working show professionals, and that includes film, television, music, radio producers and directors. We have casting directors, literary agents, we have casting agents, PR agents, talent managers, screenwriters, publicists, actors, comedians, singers, novelists, script supervisors. Let's see, we have some stunt people on, which are some of my faves, and celebrity makeup artists, a lot of behind the scenes people, which are some of my absolute mandatory guests, because I really feel that they get overlooked. It's always the celebrity A-list actor or director, but I like to bring script supervisors and the people behind the scenes, the PAs I bring on once in a while, just because a lot of people come out here and they want to be stars. They want to be celebrity actors or actresses or singers, whatever you come out here. And then they find out that, you know what, I don't really want to do that. It's either not compatible with their personality or for whatever reasons. And they discover that there are so many jobs behind the scenes that they didn't even think about. And they go, wow, this is perfectly suited to my personality or what I want to do. So I like to bring people behind the scenes because there are a lot of great jobs and you don't have to be the main star. You can work behind the scenes and be just as important. It's a team effort, as we know. Now, if you missed any of our shows, here are 3 ways that you can listen to our past shows. Number 1, download the free mobile apps. We're from, obviously, the App Store and the Google Play Store. You can also listen to us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Google, Audible.com, Stitcher.com. We're all over the place. Just type us in, LA Talk Radio, and you'll find us. And, the archive page. You can listen directly from our website. You're listening to us on right now, which is latalkradio.com. So you just look for our show title, Question Reality, or you can look for my name, Priscilla Leona. And we have all of our shows on the page from 2008 onward. And we would like to ask you to do a favor, just a little teeny weeny itsy bitsy favor. We need one of your thumbs. We need a thumb. We need a thumb or a finger. And we need that because we want you to subscribe to our podcast or to like us on our social media pages. So if you could do that for us, if you get one little smile out of the show or a laugh, or you think one of the guests is hot, which they both are, these guys are really hot. So just on that alone, I think I deserve a little thumb, right? So go to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and it's all under two names. Well, my name, Priscilla Leona, Priscilla Leona, and we'd appreciate that. We'd like that a lot. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, my God, our lives are ruled. I don't know if anybody saw that Black Mirror episode, but I really think that's the way of the future. I thought that was the coolest episode ever. Everybody is ranked through their social media, how many likes and follows they have. Like if you have so many followers, you'll get promoted or you'll make more money. Or it was a crazy episode, but it was very, very mind-boggling, intriguing. I was mesmerized. Talk about the word all. So many people abuse awesome, awesome, awesome. But that show, I never use that word unless it's really really, really necessary. And that show was an awesome show. So check that out on Black Mirror. Finally, if you want to be booked on our show or refer someone to be a guest to promote themselves or showcase their projects or their products and help listeners by providing career advice, just go to our official website. Now, listen up. You got to pay attention. The website is different than the one you're on. Our website is questionrealityradioshow.com. Again, questionreality, radioshow.com. Not the website that you're listening to us on now, which is obviously latalkradio.com. This is the website where we air the show. So again, please go to questionrealityradioshow.com. And that's also where you can see our annual guest schedule. So you might want to go there and take a peek at who the upcoming guests are and check out their sites. So again, to submit and be booked on our show, just click the contact link. Really, really easy. You just put your name, your email, title, and website. And that is it. That's all you got to do. All right. Now we're moving so close to the fun part, which is the interview. But let me tell you who's going to be on today. Rory. Oh, gosh, I sure hope I pronounce his name. If not, I apologize, and we'll ask him to. But I think it's Deering or Deering, Dering, Rory Deering. He is a screenwriter and director. And then we also have Royce Johnson. Now, that alone, Rory and Royce, that's a movie. I'm gonna have to talk to the boys about that. That is a total movie, like Thelma and Louise, Rory and Royce. I love that, don't you? Okay, so Royce is a screenwriter and an actor. And boy, these two guys are very attractive. You know, I only try to get the hot ones on my show. You know that. But let me just, and we're going to talk to them in 1 second, but I wanted to ask if any of you have seen the People article news about Christina Hawk, Christina from Christina on the Coast. She's a reality star. Well, she and her boyfriend, I just thought, oh my God, I've heard everything now. Okay, so she calls smoking psychedelic boofu toad venom a life-changing experience. I'm like, what the hell is psychedelic bufo? I don't even know. BUFO, bufo, toad venom. What the hell is that? How can I get it? Where can I get it? She said that smoking the bufo toad venom was just a life-changing experience, and it's different for every person. So she apparently did it with a group of people, and they all had a different trip. It's like, what? And she said it can't be summed up in a post, but she in particular felt like her ego was being ripped away. And she said that it was a much needed ego death. And I was like, what? I like that. I like that. Some people seriously need ego deaths to happen. So if you're one of those people or know someone, you might want to slip them a little bit of the bufo toe venom because apparently that's going to take it away. But Mike Tyson and Tony Robbins highly encourage it. And I thought, well, they smoke the marijuana, they hit the Mary Jane, so I can see where they would definitely encourage that. So personally, I'm not going to smoke the bufo toad venom, but I will gnaw on a frog leg in a minute. But I just really wanted to tell you guys about that, to check that article out on People News if you've never heard of the Bufu toad venom. I don't know why I wanted to tell you, but everybody said, oh, you got to say that on your show. So there you go. All right, let's get back to the boys, Rory and Royce. Rory is a New Jersey native, and everybody knows him from Connecticut. Oh my God, I love my East Coast boys. He graduated from Toms River High School South and Rowan University. And he has written and directed several films, and he's been featured in festivals in New Zealand, which is my future vacation spot. I told my husband that's where we're moving. No ifs, ands, or buts. Love New Zealand. And London, which I live there. Torn between that one too, but that is so exciting to bring someone on. We got to find out how his experience was in New Zealand. And he has been winning awards for his short film Pittsburgh. Now, his current film, which is entitled Guy, just won an award for Best Narrative Feature LGBT at the Hollywood Independent Film Festival. And it's been selected for festivals in New York and Miami and basically all over the country. He is currently producing and editing the audio drama, The Loyalists. And I got to hear about that, the audio drama. I don't think I know what an audio drama is. So we definitely need to find out what that is. Now, Royce, he is a screenwriter and an actor, and he got his start on Hannah Montana. I actually knew that before I read about it because his face is so recognizable. He's a gorgeous man, and my God, you just want to watch him in everything. So I would go check him out on imdb.com. Royce Johnson. He was also on another one of my favorite shows, Criminal Minds. He is a graduate of NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, very ooh la la, very prestigious school, as we know. And he now resides in LA, where he writes and performs comedy at the Upright Citizens Brigade, the Pack Theater, and I think he's on the YouTube channel like Blossom, and then he also does theater at, I believe it's the Celebration, the Blank, and the Hollywood Fringe Fest. So my God, I can't wait to talk to these guys. Welcome to the show, R&R.
Hi, thanks so much for having us. The best intro I think I've ever gotten in my life.
That was iconic.
Goodness, yeah. Well, since people are not going to know who is who, so maybe just to start out, so they can familiarize the voice with the name, why don't we say Rory here or Royce here, just to kind of get people started, right? I don't know. But what I'll do is I'll alternate back and forth. So we'll see. Now, first of all, I love this title for so many reasons, but one of them is that you followed the successful formula of filmmaking, which is to keep the title of your film to be one or two words. This is a tip for you guys. Okay. So according to the film experts, when film titles are 3 or more words, you pretty much guarantee that most of the movie-going audience is going to forget what the film is called. They're like, I don't know, it's Guys Made for Love, guys, something. So Guys, perfect. Now there are a few exceptions, such as the movie title Gone with the Wind, but that's just because it's one of the best movies of all time. So when I first read about this, I immediately started running titles of movies through my head, and it's true. I could only remember the Oscar winners like Ghost, Argo, Crash, Casablanca, let's see, Chicago, Gladiator, Titanic, Braveheart, Balloon. I'm like, my God, the experts are right for a change. It is true. Most of those have won Oscars and they're won titles. 2 is good, but, when it gets to 3 and 4, with the exception of Gone with the Wind, but, Gone with the Wind. That's another one. So a little tip from me, try to keep your film at 1 or 2 words, because when you get to 3, people just sort of blank out. We don't have attention span more than 10, 15 minutes. So Guy is about from what I understand, and we're going to ask Rory to talk about this first, but the premise was what? Now I saw two, Rory, so I'm going to let you tell me if you changed it, because the first one says, after breaking up, two social media influencers try to find themselves while unwittingly in the middle of a bizarre secret battle for fame and power. Then I saw on another social media site, it said, four successful social media influencers become involved in a bizarre secret war for the soul of the entertainment business. So which one best describes the movie?
It is about, it's a kind of an ensemble piece between four different characters. Guy sort of being the main one, and the girl who he was dating. They're sort of the main characters with their two best friends. They sort of make up the four as well too.
Oh, I see. So that Guy is the name of one of the four social media influencers.
Yes, yeah, he's the one that Royce plays.
Oh, okay. All right. So tell us the names of the four social media influencers, and then tell us what it's about in a little bit more detail, because I want to hear more about bizarre and secret war for the soul of the entertainment business. What could that be about?
It's so tough to describe, but I'll do my best here.
All right, so let's start with Rory, and then I want to hear Royce's perspective on it, if it's the same.
Sure. So my name's Rory Deering, by the way. You got it right. So the four main characters are Guy, who's played by Royce, Rebecca, who's played by Molly Burnett, Matthew, who's played by Sean. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his last name. Sean McBride. There it is.
Oh, okay.
He's so fantastic in it too. Sean's so fantastic in it. And then one of my oldest buddies from LA, the fourth one is named D, and that's played by Michael Foster. And so Guy and Rebecca have just broken up. It kind of takes place a little bit after that, and Guy has since come out of the closet, and he's kind of imbibing this new personality that he is. And so he and Rebecca are kind of trying to figure out what to do with their channels, because they're both very successful YouTubers, social media influencers. And so they're kind of figuring out how they do things sort of in their new worlds. And Molly, Rebecca's journey, she's trying to figure out how to do it without him. And she's they're both sort of failing now that they're not doing it together. So that's sort of the story of the four characters. And their two buddies are also successful as well too. And yes, as they're kind of navigating sort of what to do with their lives, they find themselves sort of embattled, embittered, I can't think of the word, in this sort of secret thing that's happening. And there's these folks who are kind of trying to take over their channels, and to take over their personalities, and almost try to make a propaganda with their stuff. And it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense until you see the whole thing. But then you see that there's some sort of science fiction-y sort of things that take over. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it gets very strange as it goes along.
Now, Rory, aka Guy, tell us about your character. Who are you?
Oh, you mean Royce?
Yes. Oh, Royce.
Yeah,
Did I say that?
It's going to be, the temptation is too much to resist. I get it. So Guy, Sean McBride, by the way, who's also in our cast, who's fantastic. But yeah, Guy is somebody who is slowly figuring his shit out. But he's kind of lazy about it, and he's got the best of intentions. He wants to make the world a better place. He's kind of stuck in a shame cycle though, because he had this very successful YouTube channel with his girlfriend, and then he figured out he was gay. Well, specifically, she walked in on him cheating on her with a guy, not another person named Guy, but just some guy. And so Rebecca's tried to figure out how to start her own channel and keep the success going, and Guy's kind of given up. in a lot of ways, even though he does not want to admit that to himself. He's got enough friends who are working who will, plug him into a thing here or there. And again, he's truly got the best of intentions. When he gets put on the spot, he knows what to say, and he's very smart, but he's just so depressed and so ashamed of just this thing that's so vital to himself that he didn't realize. Because, there's really only one major coming out story that we tell in our culture. And if you don't fit into that, then you just kind of feel like you fall through the cracks. So Guy is somebody who's fallen through the cracks. He is not opening himself up to love. You see him really, trying to go for it with a couple of, men in this movie, but he doesn't have the follow through to be emotionally vulnerable with them. He's just kind of, he's your typical fuckboy, I guess, but just a gay one.
Yeah, I like how you're really inserting all the curse words. I gave you carte blanche, and I like it.
Sorry. I was trying to come up with a word. I was like, I already said shit. Like, I was trying to go up with a better word than that.
Yes, you gotta keep thinking more. Now, how do you balance and interweave non-LGBT storylines focused around LGBT characters? So let's start with Rory, and then we'll do the same question for you, Royce.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too, and I had seen it's definitely getting way better in a lot of the current shows. Most of the shows they've released right now is doing such a fantastic job of it. They're doing so much better. But I noticed during when COVID started, I was at home and I was watching a lot of these old movies that I loved from growing up, and I was like, there's like little to no representation in any of these movies. When it is, it's just sort of like a caricature of stuff. And even today, like I love all the comic book movies and stuff, but the majority of them really don't. They shy away from it as much as they can. So I really wanted to sort of switch it up and make them the main character. I wanted Guy to be the main character, and Matthew is also gay in it too. And I wanted them to be the sort of the focus, with the non-LGBT characters sort of in their universe as well too, and big parts as well. Because I had seen the show, not to ramble on here, but I saw the show Looking, and I thought it was a great show, very, very good for the culture. But there was like zero like female representation in it. So I was just like, well, that's no good. So I kind of wanted to involve them as well too.
And what about you, Royce? How do you feel about the balance and interweaving the LGBT?
Yeah, I mean, that's one big thing that drew me to the script Rory wrote in the first place was I thought it was handled so well. I mean, you usually see, like, if you're thinking of browsing on Amazon or wherever for different genres of films, you'll get horror, sci-fi, drama, gay, lesbian, like that's its own kind of genre. Like that's the way that the public has understood it for such a long time, whether you're gay or you're straight. I think it's just such an easy way to say oh great, it's a gay movie, AKA it's just like a gay romance. Nothing much more to it, which is not to say that people haven't played outside the lines before, but you really haven't seen a consistent melding of genre filmmaking, AKA horror or sci-fi or whatever, with gay, lesbian, queer leads in it. Like, we're starting to get a little bit more of that, but it's just, I don't, what I enjoyed about this script is that there were also straight characters in it, but they were not the focus of the film. And Guy's gayness, even though it is a major plot point because it explains a lot of, where he's at right now, it's not like the point of the film is not his gayness. There's so much more going on than that in it. And I love that. I think there should be more of that. Like, my sweet spot when I write anything is exactly that, where I just kind of want to crack open these like genre structures that we think of as pretty solidly straight and just make them a little weirder, make them a little gayer.
Yeah, I mean, even in the superhero movies you were talking about, Rory, they will, when you read the taglines, it'll for promoting the movie, they'll just put something in there just so it will target a certain audience that they might not already have locked down, like the heterosexual audience, with the promise of you're going to see more of an integration of the LGBT community. However, when you watch the movie, they'll have like two guys kissing, one kiss, and that's it. I'm like, I want some guy on guy hardcore sex scene in my superhero movie. Why? I mean, but yet they'll say, oh, first gay kiss in a blockbuster superhero movie. And it's not.
That they'll
it's
probably
like
cut out in like
a
the
peck.
Chinese version.
Yeah, it's barely a peck in there, and there's nothing. Same, with the so I don't know. They need to stop that bait and switch activity. All right, so let's talk about now. Rory, you wanted to explore the issues of mental illness, sexuality, and HIV on a commercial level, and how to take a lighter approach. So let's start with you, Rory. Why did you want to talk about that? And is that incorporated in the movie? Are we going to see any of that in the movie? You're in the movie.
Absolutely. I mean, the character of Matthew has HIV, and he's kind of dealing with it, and he's dealing with the character of Dee finds out about it. And, he's sort of a little awkward about how to kind of deal with things, and it's sort of an underlying thing. We don't really throw it too much out there though, but it's definitely something that I wanted to kind of put in there for the characters too, because it's it's a big issue, and it's a lot of things that a lot of people have that issue with them. So I just kind of wanted to make sure I threw that in there, because it's not always a thing you see in a lot of shows, and if it is, it's not really. I kind of wanted to really throw it in there, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even think of a movie that broaches that topic except the movie Philadelphia. I couldn't think of anything other than that movie when I was trying to think about it. So,
and it's a different way too, because like Philadelphia, it's the main focus of the movie, and HIV and AIDS back in that time was like a death sentence, and it was just you just slowly saw them dying, and like when they do focus on it. The Normal Heart movie that they had was the same thing, where they're all kind of just slowly dying. Again, it's back before we're in a better position that we are medically now. But I still wanted to kind of keep it in there, and like Matthew's very healthy in it, but he also has it, and so I'm kind of showing that aspect of it, and kind of I just feel like it's not really well known. I think people see that. I have friends who have HIV. And other friends who know about it, and they're kind of a little bit like, oh, can I like drink this water from this person, or can I, share a cigarette with them? And it's like, okay, well these things are still, and they'll have to explain to this person, like, no, you can do this and you can do that. So wanted to try to throw that in there as well too, to kind of normalize it, I guess,
Yeah, I really think more films and television shows need to incorporate this topic, because, I mean, I don't know much about the medicines that are out there, but I do know that people are living a full life, and they're not, when I say full life, I mean they're not as burdened with the health problems that they had back in the 70s or 80s. So I think that we need to know more about how you can, I mean, you see commercials now about maintaining just a regular life where you don't have to be worried about such problems because you can take your medicine. It's no different, I think, I could be wrong, but it's no different than having any other type of disease where you have to take a pill, or you have a really serious disease. So I think people need to be aware more of what's available and what has happened since, and not fear, because just the question you said, I was asked that by a friend. Do you think that is it like social distancing where you have to sit like a certain amount of feet away? Because I know that when you talk, there's lots of spittle that comes out. So I'm like, well, don't ask me. I don't know. And I thought, well, I should know, because I'd like to be able to answer that question. So I really think people should focus more on giving us shows to debunk all of those scare tactics that are used or talked about, right?
Yeah. And that's even one of the characters kind of deals with that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Roy.
No, I just like a major point in the community right now is that if you're undetectable, you can have sex and not transmit the virus. And it's kind of amazing how many people in the gay community still don't even get that. We're like that. That's where science is advanced right now. Which is not to say that AIDS is taken care of. Of course, it's not, especially not outside of the United States in a lot of countries. But if you are taking all the things and you're remaining undetectable, you literally can have, you can be married to somebody and have sex with them every day and not transmit the virus. Like that's just how it works now. And it's shocking to me how little like that's carried.
Absolutely. And I love that you explored the issue of mental illness, because I think that you had described that guy of Royce. I believe you described your character of Guy as, I don't know if he had mental illness, but you did say that he was really, really depressed. And I wonder if that was part of the mental illness Rory was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Rory uses a light brush for it, I think.
Because
no, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know one person that isn't mentally ill, honestly.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah, look at the world right now. If you're mentally well, then there's something truly wrong with you.
Yeah, everybody likes to use that word normal. What the hell is normal? There's no normal. Normal. Everybody's either it's an obvious mental illness where people are trying to kill your ass, or it's a mental illness where your damn mate has your thumb at night, putting it on your phone so they can read your damn mail, your email. I have a girlfriend. I'll never mention her name, but she does that. She waits till her husband goes to sleep and puts his thumb on the phone and will lift his damn eyelid to scan for the phone. I said, that is a mental illness right there. But, I guess it's the degree of how mentally ill you are, right? I don't know.
And the specificity of how,
Right. I mean, my goodness. People try to hide their mental illness, but I really applaud all of the A-list celebrities that are coming out now, and they're talking about how they're dealing with being bipolar or having being manic depressant, and yet they can still function and do their jobs and maintain their status. So it's really great that people are talking about these things. I really love it. Yeah, now let's talk. I want to talk about that horrific year, I like to call it pandemic 2020, where you guys, filmmakers in general, were trying to submit and promote their projects. So what did you guys do during 2020? I mean, what was available for you to be able to submit your film? What did you do? Because you didn't want to waste a whole damn year not promoting your film, but not everything, the festivals were open. So let's start with Rory, what you did, and then we'll go to Royce.
I mean, we did kind of waste a year, honestly, because I didn't know what the heck was going on. Because we did the sort of like a soft premiere of this movie, just pretty much for the cast, back in March of 2019, and then we were fixing some things, and we were all ready to start. We submitted to about 20 festivals by March 2020, and then everything started happening. We got into a couple of festivals. We were in one in Miami, one in New York, and so we were going to submit to one in New Zealand that we kind of had it into as well. And we pulled out of that one because it was no one was getting to New Zealand this year. And the ones that we did get into, we couldn't go to Florida. We couldn't go to New York at all. So we just kind of hit the pause button, which really sucked because we just finally got everything together. Got all the promotional material. I was sitting with it all on my desk for about a year. Yes, that kind of stunk. And even now I'm still we just got into another festival next month, and I didn't even really. It was really the only one that I submitted to this year because I wasn't really sure what was happening. And a buddy of mine got into the Cannes Film Festival. And so she was out there, and I was like, oh, it's like looking at pictures of her there, and I was like, oh, that was really cool. Maybe it's time for me to start submitting again. And then even then I was like still kind of afraid, because it was just like they said what Cannes did was like, am I pronounced, is it Cannes or Cons?
You can do either. Can.
Really? Okay.
I wonder if we had the same friend. Was it Mel Oberon, who is over in Cannes now for her film? Is that our same mutual friend?
Oh no. This is my friend Abby.
Okay.
Who did? She's in that movie with Matt Damon that came out, the Clearwater or whatever it is.
Yes.
But so I saw pictures of. I don't really talk to her too much, but she was she was out there, and so I kind of got excited. I was just like, okay, this is the time to submit. And then I found out like they went through such extreme efforts to make that look so good. So I'm still kind of like nervous too. And it's it's tough, because you spend anywhere from like $20 to $100 for each submission for these things. So if you're not even going to be there, that really stinks.
Yes.
To do that, and especially with this new variant that's coming out, it's like, oh gosh, we're right back at the. Do I have to wait another year before I?
Well, this is by the way, make sure you submit to my film festival, Burbank International Film Festival. It's too late this year, but sneak it in next year. We'll take it. Don't worry about it. Now, what I wanted to talk about was being a judge at a film festival. I can tell you that there are so many, like literally thousands of films that we get from all over the world. And you have to be very careful about film festivals that you pick. You got to make sure that they want to focus on the genre of film. So unfortunately, I don't think there are, and you can correct me, Rory and Royce, I don't know, but I don't think there are many exclusive film festivals that focus on the LGBT films. And if there are, I would love for you to mention them, because I don't know enough, because people are asking me, because I am a judge and screener at a film festival, and they say, well, where can I submit my film for it's LGBT? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know any off the top of my head, and I really want people to know about more film festivals. So if you know about that, let's mention it.
There's a ton of them.
There's a big one in LA.
Like
what is it? Name
Film
it.
Outfest is pretty massive. Outfest might be the biggest in the country for LGBT centric films. I could be wrong on that, but they're based in Los Angeles, and I miss going to it. It's been a rough 2 years without going in person to it.
And what about you, Rory? You know any?
So Outfest was the first one that came to my brain. We've had a couple too, like Film Out in San Diego. I think one of them that we got nominated for or got selected for was in New York too. I think that was the Rainbow Cinema Film Festival. And then even the one that we just won the award for, we actually won the LGBT award, the LGBT Film Award, which was cool. I guess there's a huge part of this film that's LGBT, but I kind of don't like putting it into that like sort of area, but it is, it definitely is. That,
well, it's important, because a lot of if you have a lot of money to spend on film festivals, great. But if you don't, a lot of time, you got to think about this logically. Open up your mind to this concept. Film festivals get thousands and thousands of films, and I'll be honest with you, most of these film festival people, you will be lucky if you have 25 people that have to screen these films. How many films do you think 25 people can screen when you have thousands? I'm just being honest with you. That's the reality. So if you want to go ahead and spend $80 and $100 submitting to a film festival that chooses a certain type of film, then go ahead. But if you really want to take take a higher chance, submit it to a film festival that you know, do your research and find out
Right.
what type of films that you think, well, I think they usually choose more dramas or comedy or romance. So do your research with that. But not all films, unfortunately, get screened, but they all take the money, but they don't always screen.
Yeah.
And that is
Right.
God's honest truth. It's so true.
That's big advice.
I feel so sorry for people that spend so much money and that happens. Okay, so a lot of filmmakers have a hard time networking and finding agency representation. I know I've run across a lot of directors and producers, and they just don't like doing it because for many reasons, but one I hear regularly is that they hate to be bombarded by actors who are always trying to give them a headshot or a car, just kind of constantly networking to them, and then they're there to network to another. So it gets to the point where actors start being desperate, and you can smell desperation a mile away in any field, but they don't really like that networking agency representation path that you have to take. So Rory, we'll start with you. Can you tell us about some of the struggles that you two you have personally encountered?
Well, I don't act really anymore. So I used to when I first came out here. But I'm more in the looking for like the
right.
I guess
but
the directing agencies or the
yeah.
literary. Yeah.
Right. So as a director,
so
you have to kind of go after the producers or the executive producers. So you got to network to them because, they're the ones that are going to give you the job. So you would network to them, whereas an actor would network or to director or producer. So for you, how have you found it when you're trying to network to producers or executive producers?
Well, I was kind of hoping with these festivals that I would be actually going to these places and meeting some of these people, and that's why I was kind of hoping to go to these places and do this, so I could kind of make the contacts that way. So it's a little bit stranger right now in this in this situation that we're all in, just kind of sort of blindly messaging people, or it's really all about friends of friends.
It really is, isn't it? It really comes down to you try to break away from that, but it's such a click and it's such a person referring. They always get on poor Steven Spielberg because he always uses the same actors pretty much, like Tom Hanks and blah, 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 blah. And it's, why I have a friend who is a friend of Steven Spielberg, and he said, why Steven chooses the same people? Because they show up on time. They show up at least an hour early. They're always professional on the set. They're pleasant. They're upbeat. They're happy. And that's the kind of environment he wants. If you are a producer, executive producer, you don't care about the director's personality or the actors, then, hire whoever you want. But he works with people who he feels are the most professional to him. So
I mean that's why I'm going to use Royce in like every single project that I do too. No, really. I mean, you look at like Sandler and his crew, and they reuse the same people, and Royce is he's so reliable. He always kind of comes in with such a great attitude, and he's always down for everything too. And I absolutely love working with him. He's such a great actor too.
You. Yeah,
he's definitely one of those people.
I met him on Sunday, Royce, and I thought, wow, he'd be great to work for. He seems so mellow and easygoing, and just that, the Eagles, peaceful, easy feeling kind of guy. So I thought he would be a great director to work for. You can't be working with neurotic directors, and unfortunately, some of the A-listers, they're a little neurotic, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a really kind way of saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you start out, if you're an actor, start out working with a mild-mannered Clark Kent superhero type, like our man Rory here. So let's go on.
Exactly.
A lot of filmmakers have a hard time. Social media. Let's talk social media. So, I have had so many actors tell me, I just want to focus on my craft. I don't want to be promoting via social media. I hate it. I despise it. I feel like I'm selling myself. But unfortunately, the reality is that having a digital social media footprint is absolutely vital today in promoting, maintaining, and advancing your career, pretty much really in every field. Now, what do aspiring directors, Rory, we'll start with you. What do aspiring directors have to do to target their audience and promote their project on social media?
I mean, I was hoping you could answer that question for me because I literally had to have help putting up a post for this interview today. Like I'm that bad with Instagram and I mean, I the first time I think I've logged into Facebook in like months putting up that post, you know.
And I hear this all the time from directors and producers. They don't want to do it or they don't want to fool with it. Actors are a little better at promoting themselves, but what about you, Royce? Do you feel the same way Rory does, or are you pretty good about promoting your project?
I like to promote projects. I like using my social media.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I've got that thing in me that wants to do it like, you know, a different way. I'm not like the other guys. I like to find ways that like kind of make you like that stand out. Sometimes they stand up for the wrong reasons. Sometimes it's very try hard and extra, if you will, but that's also my sense of humor. So yeah, I mean, I think that like the key to social media is just treating it like an extension of yourself, right? And like also remembering that it's just another stage. So as you were hinting at, it's, you know, a friendlier place for actors or comedians who are more comfortable performing something that's not necessarily them on there. Right. Like as long as it's funny and as long as it grabs your attention, that's all that matters. Like like forget everything else, you know?
Yeah, and you have to always, this is a tip for the audience, you have to really think of yourself who you really are. You are an entrepreneur. If you are a director, a producer, or an actor, you have to be the sales department. You have to be the accounting department, the PR department, and that's where social media comes in. You have to be able to promote yourself. You might not feel comfortable doing it because it seems some people make it, they feel like it's bragging or it's very vain, but it's not. Right. You're just promoting your project because you're a business, you're an entrepreneur.
It's your job
as the head of PR. So try to feel more comfortable with that. And if you don't, get a family member to do it, you know. Or
for me, I just get so discombobulated when I do it.
Yes, or you know, someone who believes in you or your career, a friend who's really good at it. And if you have a little cash, you know, hire someone to do it. Speaking of cash, everything is so expensive to make a film. We'll start with Rory, how do you prioritize a film when you are a novice director? Or an actor, will go to Royce next. And hopefully you'll have a team, but just in case you don't, you have to do it yourself. Let's start with you, Roy. How do you prioritize as a director? You know what you do? I mean, normally you go, okay, I'm the director, I'm being hired by the producer, but a lot of times when you're starting out, you're the producer, the director, the editor, right? So what do you do?
No, and this I did it pretty much everything. And this is I've been out in LA for about 15 years now, so I've done a whole bunch of projects, mostly by myself. And with each project, I'm just like, hey, you know what would be great on this? Somebody to run the lights, so I don't have to do that as well, or somebody to you know to film it and whatnot. So this project was really great because I still worked my butt off. I took on so many different roles, but I had a fantastic producer named Christina Holleran, who was great, and she connected me to
she's awesome.
Fantastic a cinematographer named Fabian Montez too, and I mean, all of his shots were just absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. And the best thing about these two people in particular, they were just so calm and so chill, and they just like knew how to do everything, and they were just so lovely to work with. And like Royce, I will work with these people with every project that I do because they're so great to work with, and we just all kind of get each other, and it's Yeah, so with this project, I first brought on Christina. Christina introduced me to Fabian, and then it was pretty much that. I mean, we didn't have we had a sound guy named Matthew as well too, and an assistant camera. So we still kind of had like a skeleton crew for this, but it's like the fact that I had 5 other people helping me out instead of me kind of doing all those parts, or say Royce would be like running the camera or something, which I've had done other productions where an actor wasn't in one of the scenes, so he was running the camera, I was running the camera or something. Thank God I wasn't in this too, because I've done that where I've also been in it while I was writing it and directing it and doing all these other things. So taking myself out of certain roles and having other people who are really good at it doing it, it just made it. It's definitely the prettiest and just the best project that I've done visually so far.
Oh my gosh.
Because of all these people helping me out.
I'm excited to see it. So I swear to God, we could go on 3 more hours talking about this. I love talking to you guys, but unfortunately our time is up, and I want to get in real quick. I would love to invite you to come back individually, so we'd have more time.
Ooh, yeah.
One. So if you're interested, shoot me a DM and we'll do that. We'll schedule you. But I want to real quick say to everyone, how are they going to be able to see the film? So Rory, why don't we start with you? How are we going to be able to see the film?
So because of film festivals and certain rules that festivals have, we aren't able to kind of release the whole thing right now. We're able to do trailers. And if you go to my Vimeo page, I think my YouTube page too, you can see the first 15 minutes of it. And that's about
which
all
are very different
right
from the rest of it.
Okay. And if we go to YouTube, what's the name would we look under your name, Rory Deering, RORYDERING? Or is it called something?
Just look under my name and that'll pop up for either one of those. If you go to Instagram at Guy the Film, they should also link you to that too. And I think that there's definitely trailers in that, but I think it should link you to that as well too, so you'll be able to see the first little bit. But I loved it. I love the show, and I hate that it's kind of sitting on the shelf right now.
I know you can't do it while you're in film festival status. Okay, everybody, we've got Rory Deering and Royce Johnson. Love these two guys. Go to YouTube and at least look at the trailer, and please give them a little finger at, should we say the site, just one site on Instagram? You're on Facebook?
Sure, yeah. So it's at Guy the Film.
Okay.
That's at the Instagram, and that's kind of the big one. It's also on Facebook too. I think it's like Guy and then 1,000 numbers after, because I haven't.
I remember Facebook.
For a bit,
yeah.
so.
I remember Facebook. All right, everybody. Well, we will hopefully see these guys, the movie, at the AMC or one of the screening. Go to their page, follow them so that you can find out when their movie is going to be available for viewing. So say goodbye to your fans, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Priscilla, for having us.
Thank you, Priscilla. This is great.
You're welcome. So hit me up so we can do individual interviews, and we'll have a whole hour just for you.
Sure.
Sounds good.
You got it.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week on Question Reality. Bye.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.